Hello, my name is Dana Lucas, and I am interviewing my father, Mike Lucas. Dad, could you maybe tell me something that is interesting in your life or something that has affected you to this day?
I think that I could come up with a story that is particularly relevant to your class of grade 12 students and the idea that they're all going to graduate this year. I had a friend back in 1979, a good friend that we spent a lot of time together, and he was in grade 12, I mean, at that time, and his story about what happened to him. His name was Scott, and Scott was a really good student. Very high marks, a good athlete, a very personable fellow, just an all-around nice guy. We enjoyed being around him. Had a good sense of morality, a funny and pretty witty guy, and unfortunately his story doesn't end happily at all. We got to the end of our grade 12 year and had our graduation and got ready for our aftergrad, and our aftergrad party was not held in Saskatoon. It was held up at Otter Rapids, and Otter Rapids is located about 65 miles north of La Ronge, where myself and many of my classmates had spent quite a bit of time canoeing and swimming through rapids, and there's actually a bridge there that my friends and I would put 2 life jackets on and jump off the bridge and float down the rapids. So on the night we're talking about, we had all arrived up there on the Friday night for the beginning of our aftergrad, and started to can't get our camp set up and start fires and get together, have supper, and of course everybody started drinking, which is just what happened at all of our aftergrads. Unfortunately, at this one, my friend Scott got really drunk, and the last time I saw Scott was standing on top of this bridge. The two of us, it's about maybe 11 o'clock at night, and he makes a joke. He puts his leg over the side of the bridge and says, maybe I should jump, but we all took it just as a joke. We bullshitted a little bit more and walked back to our campsite, and Scott had some more to drink, and we all had more to drink, and everybody was fairly inebriated, unfortunately. And that's partly where the tragic part starts. I went off to bed, as well as most of my friends went off to bed. And the next morning we woke up and we couldn't find Scott. Scott had disappeared, and we had thought he probably wandered out into the bush, and it's quite thick, the bush around there, and this is a long time ago. Before today, there's quite a bit of traffic in around the Otter Rapids area. Back then there wasn't much traffic. So we had people come from all over and search, just like you hear on TV, where they had big search parties trying to find somebody. And this all went, to no avail. We couldn't find Scott. And unfortunately, what happened to Scott was he had gotten drunk the night before, really bad, and managed to throw himself into the rapids throughout the course of the night. At least that's what the police reported afterward, and we found Scott's body floating downstream in the middle of the lake, and that was kind of the end of a really promising life. Scott was supposed to go off to the College of Commerce the next year. I think about sort of a tragic story, but one I felt important that it was important to tell.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with me.